Do you struggle when it comes to reaching your health and fitness goals? Let's just say you're doing all the right things. You're not focusing on all the fad diets that's out there that they're just not sustainable. Cutting out your carbs, cutting out your alcohol, cutting out your sugar, intermittent fasting, doing endless amounts of cardio. No, you're focusing on creating sustainable fat loss habits for yourself. Pretty much the fat loss habits that we help and coach our members with at Heartletics, which I'll run down for you real quick. 1, sticking within a calorie deficit in your calorie budget for fat loss. Pretty simple. Second, making sure that you're focusing on hitting your macros. Specifically, just focus on hitting your protein goal. Don't worry about your carbs. Don't worry about your fats. Third, you're doing some strength training because obviously this helps you build muscle, which is going to help you speed up your metabolic rate. Fourth, you're focusing on NEAT, right? NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And I use this, and this is how I help out our members when it comes to being more active. I'm not a fan of cardio, plain and simple. I don't really enjoy running at all. I like walking though. I like to walk with my family. I like to get plenty of steps in, especially when I just find that I'm too sedentary sitting here at the office too much. It's like it really hurts my lower back. But when I'm more active, when I'm moving around, less back pain, but also more fat loss. 5, focusing on drinking plenty of water. Keeping my body hydrated. Your body needs water, plain and simple. You probably learned this in school growing up, that your body's over 65% water anyways. Your muscles need water. Your organs need water. You need water, especially if you want to lose body fat and keep it off. So I focus on drinking anywhere from about 3/4 to about a gallon of water a day. Makes me also feel way more energy as well. And also, side note, when you're drinking all that water and you have to constantly get up to use the bathroom, hey, you're getting more steps in. So it's going to help you lose more body fat in that aspect as well. Now, the 6th and the 7th fat loss habit that we like to go over with our members, these are ones that are really important. So pay close attention to this because this is really going to help you out as we progress into today's episode and what we're going to really be diving into and talking about. So that way you can finally be successful at reaching your health and fitness goals. All right. The 6th fat loss habit is all about the mindset, and it's more importantly about lowering the stress. Plain and simple. If you're underneath a lot of stress, maybe that is an injury, maybe that is literally stress, like financial stress, curveballs at work, a toxic relationship. If maybe you're traveling and you're off your routine that you're normally a part of, right? Different environments, it's stress. If you're sick, it's stress. And this can be very difficult when it comes to losing body fat simply because, your cortisol, which is your body's natural stress hormone, is elevated. So your body's more focusing on, that stress at hand rather than helping you lower the body fat. And 7 is the recovery, okay, which is just getting plenty of sleep in. You're not overtraining, not overkilling yourself, okay? Now, the reason why I say these last 2 are so important is because you could be doing everything right under the sun. You could be eating healthy, you could be working out, getting plenty of steps in, drinking plenty of water, but unfortunately, if you're underneath a lot of stress, it might be very difficult for you to reach your health and fitness goals. Now, one of the ways that a lot of guys struggle with when it comes to reaching their health and fitness goals and almost putting themselves in this state of stress is by being obsessed, literally obsessed with trying to lose weight, obsessed with the number on the scale, obsessed with, looking good with their shirt off, obsessed with trying to reach their health and fitness goals. They have a hard time of actually trusting the process and just letting go. And that's why I really want to dive into 3 key tips that's going to help you on your health and fitness journey. Okay. And the reason why I want to make today's episode was simply I was asked on Instagram. Somebody actually sent me over a private message and was like, dude, I see all the food that you post. I see all your workouts and all that stuff. You make it seem so easy. Like, you're always with your shirt off. You're always looking good. Like, what gives, man? Like, how is this so easy for you? And the reason why it's easy for me is because I don't care at all. And you shouldn't either, especially if you want to be successful on your health and fitness journey. Okay. And I want to dive into that a little bit more specifically on how you can really start to just let go, trust the process, have fun, lower the stress, and most importantly, continue on this journey of you becoming the best version of yourself. Not just physically with looking good with your shirt off and having more muscle, but most importantly, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as well. And that's exactly how we help out our members, right? Is those 4 pillars of essentially their well-being. And this is why I love what I do. It's because it's not just giving somebody personalized workouts and personalized nutrition plans to follow and weekly check-ins and guiding them and coaching them, but it's really helping out through every storm, every adversity in life, and guiding them when it comes to what they can do to just start filling up their cup more, to be more of an asset rather than a liability, but most importantly, filling up their cup so they can pour more out into others. Maybe that's their coworkers, maybe that's their family members, their loved ones, their friends, and just be better. That's it. Because that's what I strive to be, is just better each and every day. Now, I'm not obsessed with trying to be 100% better each and every day. I'm not obsessed with trying to be 50% better each and every day. No, I'm just striving to become 1% better each and every day. And that's a big difference. Striving versus obsessed. Because your health and fitness journey, you should never put it on a pedestal. The number on scale, you should never put it on a pedestal. Getting six-pack abs, you should never put it on a pedestal. Let's say, lowering your body fat percentage, you should never put it on a pedestal. Because when you're obsessed with something, you're literally suffocating it. And if you're suffocating something, it's not going to breathe. It's going to end up dying. And maybe that's happened with you plenty of times on your health and fitness journey, where let's just say you're being super strict. It's like, hey, I'm not eating carbs. I'm not eating sugar, right? I'm sticking to this diet. I'm sticking to these macros, and I'm religious. I'm strict, right? And maybe you're doing that for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And it's like, hey, in the beginning, everything's fine. But then sure enough, maybe life throws you a curveball unexpectedly. Maybe you got to travel and it takes you off, your nutrition plan and maybe off course of your training routine that you're a part of doing as well. Or maybe it's an injury. Or maybe it's just something at home and it takes you off course. And then all of a sudden, you feel really guilty about it. Like maybe I don't know. I know personally with me, when I'm underneath a lot of stress, I like sweets. I like comfort food. It makes me feel better, right? It just kind of eases things mentally for me and emotionally, which, hey, I'm only human, right? I ain't perfect. So if I'm, having some food that, hey, I'm off from hitting my macros or it's not part of the plan, whatever the case may be, I know that, hey, it's very easy for most guys when they're eating something that they probably shouldn't be doing, the next day they feel really guilty about it. It's almost like a sense of shame. And that takes them away from having peace. It takes them away from the winner's mindset that they should be having. And I don't want that to happen to you guys, because when you focus on, oh man, guilty and shameful, then it's like you try to outdo something. And then you start creating bad relationships with food, bad relationships with your training, because you're trying to burn off all the, extra sugar that you had or drink, the alcohol that you drank, whatever the case may be. And it's, once again, not a healthy relationship on your health and fitness journey. And that's typically when people fall off track, okay? You become obsessed with something, you also subconsciously push it away farther and farther away from you. I know me, my very first girlfriend back when I was 16 years old, man, for 2 years, I was chasing her, just trying to get her number, trying to take her out on a date, just trying to be like wherever she was at, like messaging her, on Facebook and just trying to whatever, right? And at the end of the day, it was coming off needy. It was coming off as I want. No confidence at all in that, right? Being obsessed. And all that was doing was pushing her away from me. Plain and simple. The minute I literally stopped chasing her, probably I would say a few short months later, she ended up chasing me. She ended up trying to get to know me. She ended up trying to take me out on dates. And guess what? That's how she became my girlfriend. My very first girlfriend was simply because I let go. I stopped caring. And there is so much truth to whatever it is that you're striving to become and going towards, to just letting go. Because when you're obsessed with something, man, there's a lot of different storms that could come your way. I know a lot of guys that also suffer where they're obsessed with reaching their health and fitness goals, but they also kind of get distracted and blindsided by different things out there. Like if, let's say, there's guys that they're seeing on social media or other guys where, man, they look good and they're crushing it. They're constantly, getting in better shape. They look good with their shirt off. They're losing all this weight. And next thing you know, we start comparing ourselves to them. And we don't even understand that, hey, maybe we just got started on our health and fitness journey, or maybe it's been a few short months. These guys have been, doing things that have been sustainable for them for years. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. It's the same thing why I always say, like, sometimes staying off social media can really help you out, just getting back to your roots. Because on social media, let's face it, you're only seeing people's highlights reels. That's it. You're not seeing all the, stuff going on behind the scenes, the stuff going on behind closed doors. Everybody has skeletons in the closet. Nobody's perfect by any means, but on social media, it's very easy to get our minds compared to those guys out there. And remember, comparison is the thief of all joy. I want you to have peace. I want you to treat your health and fitness goals as a journey of, man, I just like what I do because it makes me feel better. And I know at the end of the day, when I'm filling up my cup, I'm going to be a better asset to my family members and loved ones. But most importantly, it's like I'm paving the way for a healthier future tomorrow, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. So why would I ever want to stop? So the first thing that I really want you to understand before we dive into the 3 key tips that's going to help you just let go and not put your health and fitness goals on a pedestal. The first thing you need to understand this: your health and fitness journey is just that. It's a journey. If you're treating it as a sprint, if you're treating it as, oh, I'm going to do all this, right? Maybe the fad diets or endless amounts of cardio or these things that are not sustainable for you at all, just to see your goals, I'm going to stop and just ask you this: what is the point? Because if you've ever tried that in the past, you know, oh, hey, I'm going to cut out my carbs. I'm going to do all this just to see the number on the scale go down. Well, what's going to happen when you go back to your old ways? Which you will. Because if the things that you're doing that got you over here to your goals isn't sustainable, what's going to happen when you fall off track? You're going to regain the weight right back. And this is why I tell everybody, focus on creating sustainable fat loss habits. And if you want any information on exactly the more about the fat loss habits that we help our members with, you can obviously click on the link down below if you're watching this on YouTube. The very first link is a free fat loss coaching guide that you can simply download, take a look at. This isn't rocket science, and I don't want it to be. Because when it becomes very confusing and, hard to remember and hard to do, it's not going to be sustainable. You need to treat your health and fitness journey as just that. Something that's sustainable, something that's fun, something that you're just getting better with, over time. You're focusing on that 1% better mindset. That's it. Not 50%, not 100%. No, just 1% better, but treat it as a journey. Once again, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You should be doing all this just because you want to just feel better. You want to live longer. You want to become healthier. You want to be, stronger mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually to help out those in need. That's what fitness means to me, and hopefully that's what it means to you. Now remember, if we're obsessed though, we have our health and fitness goals on a pedestal, we're never going to become that person. We're never going to become the best version of ourselves. So let's first talk about what are some key things on how to just let go and trust the process and make it so much easy for us mentally when it comes to reaching our goals. The first thing is gratitude. And I talk about this all the time. Working on your mindset is hands down one of the best muscles that you can ever train. Obviously, hey, having big biceps, having six-pack abs, chiseled chest, that's great. But at the end of the day, when you're 80, 90 years old, you're not going to have that. I'm sorry. But you're always going to have that right mindset. And this is a muscle that helps out so much, not just with you, but most importantly, other people as well. And gratitude is by far one of the easiest ways to start developing a better mindset for yourself. And you can focus on the simple things of, instead of, all these things that you want to achieve, like, oh, I want to have more energy. I want to get off my medications. I want to see the number of the scale go down. I want. You start focusing on what do you already have? So instead of this, mindset of I want, right, this scarcity mindset, you start focusing on what you have, an abundant mindset. And when you really start focusing on, gratitude, you can see that you have a lot of abundance in your own life right now. You probably woke up today, hence watching this video or listening to this podcast. Hey, you should be grateful for that. Maybe you have a family. You should be grateful for that. Maybe you have clothes in the closet. You should be grateful for that. Maybe you have food in the fridge. You should be grateful for that. Maybe you have all your limbs. You should be grateful for that. Maybe let's just say you have toothpaste, toilet paper, running water. You should definitely be grateful for that. Because I bet you anything, there are some people out there in this world that would die to trade places to be in your shoes because they don't have that. And gratitude is so important to focus on. you start seeing things from a whole different lens. Instead of looking at the glass being half empty, you really start seeing the glass being half full. So start focusing on more gratitude in your life. The second key tip that I want to dive into that's really going to help you out, not just with letting go, but most importantly, changing your mindset and making it become more of a winner's mindset. So if you think about it, with gratitude, that's an abundant mindset, not a scarcity mindset. With this next practice called self-reflection, this is going to help you have a winner's mindset. And this is one of my favorite techniques, and I love, love, love coaching and teaching our members how to do this on what works best for them, because anybody can do it. And it just takes a few short minutes, honestly. So self-reflection is where essentially you're writing down, whether it's on your phone or whether it's literally on a pen and paper. I personally just like to use the same journal that I do my gratitude practice in the morning. At the end of the evening time, I do my self-reflection. And do you need to do it at the end of the day? No, you can do it throughout the course of the day. Whatever easier for you, that just helps you stay more consistent with it. But what you're doing is you're writing down between 10 to 20 wins that you had throughout the course of the day. That's it. This does not have to be your health and fitness wins, right? If let's say you didn't work out or whatever the case may be, like don't count it off as, oh man, like I didn't win today. No. Bad mindset. Remember, everything that you do, essentially, you're winning at. Plain and simple. So let's start writing them down, whether it's fitness related or not, whether it's big or whether it's small. So writing down some wins might look like this for you, because this is how it typically looks like for me. Hey, I woke up today and let's just say I made the bed. That's a win. I'm going to write that down. If let's just say, I spent some quality time with my family today, that's a win. I'm going to write that down. If let's say I went for a walk today, I got some steps in, that's a win. I'm going to write that down. I did the dishes. That's a win. I, spent some time, let's say, planning out some content and planning out different topics for the podcast for the next, several weeks. Guess what? That's a win. If let's just say, I was able to do some push-ups and hit my target goal for the day, that's a win. If let's say somebody outside just really needed some help, like one of my neighbors with something, I don't know, they were carrying something that was too heavy for them and I decided to just go above and beyond, right? Be that servant's heart and just help them out. That's a win. Whatever you can write down, that is a win. You want to make sure you write that down. At least 10 things. I like to say 10 to 20 is a really good sweet spot, but you're going to see just by doing this each and every day, the compound effect that it's going to have on your mindset and it's going to have on your life. Because now you're going to start walking through life each and every day as I did this, I won. I did this, I win. Win, 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 win. Winner's mindset. Rather than I'm not good enough. Rather than, oh, that person's better than me. Rather than, oh, I want this. Rather than, oh, I should be here by now. Guys, hear me out, right? Self-reflection helps you view life as the windshield with you moving forward, just like you're driving a car. Instead of you viewing everything from the rearview mirror, it doesn't work that way. You want to make sure you're constantly driving forward. And even if it's just 1% better each and every day, guess what? Where are you going to be at this time next year if you just focused on that mindset, being 1% better each and every day, and starting to do some self-reflection and changing your mindset to have a winner's mindset is really going to help you out, staying consistent with it. Now, the last key tip that I want to dive into is transcendental meditation. And for the last several months, I've been doing this meditation and it has helped me out so much simply because it works more with your nervous system. So let me give you the long story short. I'm currently 32 years old right now. 22, right? Back when I was 22, so 10 years ago, I was in a dark point in my life, really dark place, right? Suicidal thoughts, depressed, mentally, emotionally weak. It was bad, okay, to say the least. And this is when I really started focusing on personal development. This is when I really started focusing on just filling up my cup. This led to me eventually taking a yoga class, which then eventually me, getting more involved with meditation. And I also have ADHD. So when I first got started off with meditation, it was very difficult. And the reason why I'm saying that to you is because you're not going to be perfect at doing anything overnight. This took me 10 years and I'm still not a master at it. And I probably never will be. It's a practice. It's something you're constantly working on, just like a muscle. It's not like, hey, you just go to the gym once and that's it. It's like, no, you have to constantly, right, focus on building muscle, losing body fat, being, putting in the reps, plain and simple. Napoleon Hill talks about in his book, Outwitting the Devil, repetition is the mother of all learning. So don't give up if you feel like, oh, I tried meditating and I couldn't focus or whatever the case may be. It's okay. Trust me. It took me 10 years, right? It's all right. It's just like riding a bike. You're going to fall down, scrape your knee, but as soon as you get right back on, it eventually gets a lot easier. So when I got started meditating, I just focused on I just focused on gratitude guided meditations because it's very easy for like a guided meditation that I found on YouTube that was all about gratitude, made it just very easy for me. And then eventually it got more into just different guided meditations. Whereas like, hey, visualization meditations that are all guided and other things that are just, once again, guided meditations. But I would say the last several years, and most importantly, the last several months, I've really been getting into just different forms of meditations. It's kind of like if you think about it like, working out or let's say developing bigger muscles, okay, for your biceps. You can do dumbbell curls, you can do barbell curls, cable curls, different exercises, still working out the same muscle, right? Think about that when it comes to meditations. There's so many different things out there. You just really want to find something that works for you. But at the same time, if you feel like you've outgrown something, you want to be a little bit more challenged with, that form of muscle that you're building, hey, experiment with a different exercise. Same thing with meditation, right? So I kind of outgrew the whole guided meditations where I started focusing on a little bit more of just different aspects, different forms of meditations. The last several months, I've been focusing on transcendental meditations after hearing this amazing clip with Joe Rogan interviewing somebody talking all about it. And he really broke it down into the specifics on how a 20-minute transcendental meditation really helps you lower your nervous system. Now, the reason why I'm saying all this is because I talk a lot about, this primal state and also this powerful state. When you're in a primal state of being, that is where it's like, hey, we're worried, we're anxious, right? We're constantly focusing on like, what can we do? What situation can we control? We're not in a powerful state, And with your nervous system, you want to be in a powerful state. Well, if you remember, not too long ago, I just told you, somebody could be crushing it with eating the right foods, training hard, getting plenty of steps in, drinking plenty of water. But if they're underneath a lot of stress, guess what? It's going to be hard for them to successfully lose body fat. So what this transcendental meditation does, it works more with your nervous system. And I'm going to give you guys the breakdown in terms of how to do it. And it is hard. Trust me. I'm not a master at this by any means. But it has helped me out so much, especially the last several months. With just letting go, right? Not caring about my goals that I want to achieve, whether that's for my business or my other goals or anything like that. It's literally a 20-minute session where you're just letting go completely. Hard to do, but trust me, we're going to get into more specifics on how you can just make this a little bit easier for you here in a little bit, okay? But essentially, what a transcendental meditation does is typically it's somebody that is guiding you for maybe the first, minute or two, if that. They're just going through some simple breath work. They're going through some simple practices, just helping you just kind of lower your brain waves, getting you to more of a theta brainwave state, but also just getting calm, right? Because that's the whole point of meditation is just to get calm, get in this just simple present moment where you're not worried about the future, you're not worried about the past, you're more in the present moment. That's the whole purpose about meditation anyways. And then as this guy's guiding you, his voice just stops pretty much, at least the ones that I look up on YouTube and I found. And then it's just a binaural beat or like a frequency, and that's it. And what happens is you just sit there, closing your eyes, breathing, right? You're hearing the binaural beat, you're hearing the frequency, and that's it. Now, somebody like myself that once again had to start with guided meditations and do that for a very, very long time because I have ADHD and I cannot sit still and I cannot focus. Transcendental meditation was very, very difficult. Still is at times, right? Once again, I'm not perfect by any means. But I tell you what, you get all these different thoughts, right? And it gets crazy, right? You're thinking about this, you're thinking about this, you're thinking about this. And one thing that has really helped me out, because I bet you anything, if you try to do a transcendental meditation, you're going to get all these thoughts too. And you might be thinking to yourself like, oh man, like I can't meditate, right? I can't do this form of meditation that Coach Joe talks about. Like it doesn't work for me. No, 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 no. Remember, you weren't perfect at riding the bike the very first day. It's a practice, okay? So when you start to get these thoughts, don't try to stop them. Just observe them. Don't entertain them. Just observe them. So what does that mean? Well, hey, when you get a random thought, like I might focus on what I need to do later on the day or who I need to contact or whatever the case may be, right? Like go do something with my family, later on the evening time, whatever, right? Like it can be anything, right? Any kind of thought that just randomly pops in my head. I'm not just stopping it. I'm not trying my hardest to just say, oh, that thought, I shouldn't be thinking about that and just stop it in its tracks. No, because what I'm doing is I'm putting my focus towards that thought. And I don't want to do that because now I'm thinking about that thought. I just observe it. That's it. It's there. That's it. And I'm not entertaining it. Like, oh, why am I thinking about this? Or, if I'm thinking about, let's just say a random thought comes in my head of, oh, I need to, do this workout. And then next thing you know, it's like, I'm thinking about the workouts. I'm thinking about the sets, the reps, the exercises. Like, no, I don't need to entertain it because once again, I'm putting my focus towards that. It's not what I want. I just observe it. And it's hard to do. Once again, work in progress, but just like building a muscle, hey, it becomes a lot easier over time the more reps that you put in. So if you're somebody that wants to get more involved with transcendental meditation, you can actually, in fact, go on YouTube, and I highly recommend you do this. Just type in transcendental meditation and also type in like Joe Rogan podcast. There's a 7-minute clip where he's interviewing somebody that talks all about how it lowers our nervous system and just kind of resets the system almost, where you're not in this fight or flight. You're not in this, this primal state of being, which you don't want to be in. It kind of just relaxes you. It kind of just drains you of a lot because you're forced to sit there and literally just let go. Okay. And then, hey, find one that resonates with you on YouTube. Like I said, just type in transcendental meditations. You'll see a bunch of them. I recommend doing one that's maybe around 20 minutes. That's a good sweet spot. 20 minutes and treat it as a practice each and every day. But guys, these 3 tips that I just shared with you, sure, this wasn't, hey, do more push-ups, get more steps in, drink more water to help you, lower body fat and keep it off for the rest of your life. No, if you honestly want to be successful at reaching your goals, hear me out. It has a lot to do with mentally, a lot to do with emotionally, a lot to do with your mindset, and a lot to do with not being obsessed, not having your health and fitness goals on a pedestal. More so of just treating this like a marathon that you're constantly progressing each and every day. And guess what? At times when you fall off track, which you probably will, if you treat it like a marathon and not a sprint because you're not obsessed with the number on the scale, you're not obsessed with your health and fitness goals, you know what it does? It makes it a lot easier for you to have grace for yourself, to pick yourself up the next day, brush off the dirt, and get right back to becoming the best version of yourself and continuing to try to become the best version of yourself each and every single day. 1% better. That's all. I really hope that you guys got a lot of value from today's episode. If you did, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below letting me know your biggest takeaway. And if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would greatly appreciate that if you did. As always, guys, this has been Coach Joe with Heartletics.com, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.